Hello, this is Sue Hiles and welcome to my channel. So I am thrilled to be working on a mixed media page, and the journal I'm working in is the visual journal mixed media from Strathmore. It's the smaller one. It is basically 5.5 inches by 8 inches. And I pulled out a whole bunch of old products to use. Some worked, some didn't. You have to watch the video to know what happened. So on the top, I used Ink Essentials Crackle Accents, which is clear. And on the bottom, I used Distress Crackle Paint in Antique Bronze. And yeah, so I wanted some more of this crackle accent up on top. And then as I'm spreading this out, I'm like, well, that paint on the bottom, the crackle paint on the bottom, there was a lot there. So I just tried, I don't know, I tried to blend a little bit, to kind of make it look a little bit more cohesive. So I pulled a little bit of that brown color up towards the top of the page. Now this was a hoot. Look, I can't get it out. It's so hard. It was, I think I'm gonna have to throw this away, because watch this. So this is Deco Art Crackle Paste. Look at this. It bends the palette knife. Well, as I'm watching this back, I'm like, I don't know how I had the patience to do this, because I really don't have patience. So I'm like watching this back thinking, oh my gosh, how did I do that? I must have really, really, really wanted it. So I got a little bit on there, I added a little more at the top, basically the top two corners. And it was rough. It was really, really, really rough to get that on there. But once it was on, I liked the way that it looked. You can see it's very textured, and yeah, I liked it so far. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to slow down the video, and I want to share with you what this looks like so far. So this is dried overnight. First thing I notice is that the crackle paint did not crackle. Really? Well, I can't say it didn't crackle. It crackled only if you look at it a certain way. So it's like if I look at it straight on, I cannot see the crackle. The crackle is so teeny, 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 tiny, and barely there that I would venture to even say, yeah, it didn't even work. Which is a shame, because, well, I have multiple of these, and so I guess I'll try the other ones. I'm not going to throw it away, but I'll give at least a couple other ones a try at some point, and yeah, just to see if I can get them to crackle. I know in the past it's worked, but now I don't know if it's too old or whatever the case may be. The second thing that I want to talk about, so this Ink Essentials, which is also made by Ranger. Of course, Ranger is an awesome, awesome, awesome company, right? But this is Crackle Accents. I've had it for many years, and it's clear, but still, like, so I put it pretty much all over the top half of this, and there is no crackling. Now, this is obvious crackling. That is, yes, and that was this. This was the Deco Art Crackle Paste. This was the stuff that is so hard that I could barely get it out of here. But at least it crackled, right? So that wasn't super successful, but that's okay. I'm not stopping. We're going to finish this page, and yep. So I'm going to go back onto fast forward now and continue on with, seeing what I'm going to put onto the page. I had taken out several things that I thought might work as focal points. The Tim Holtz paper dolls, is that what they're called? Even like his, I don't know what they're called, the flower set that has the butterfly. I really like that butterfly. So what I'm going to do now is take a look at the Tim Holtz tissue paper. And this little piece was already in there torn off. I didn't know it was in there. But I'm like, okay, I'll use it. That's fine with me because I really do love that flower. And I'm almost done with this bottle of Liquitex matte medium. And I did purchase another bottle, a smaller bottle, but it lasts me a long time. So I was okay with that. And yes, I'm just going to get this tissue paper down. And, I really did not have a plan at this point. I had a general idea. And yeah, and even this piece up here, I knew I wanted to bring this, why save this little piece that I had, right? So I figured, well, let me put it at the top of the page. And it just looked better to me on the left side, and there was less of that crackle paste on the left, so I really wasn't covering anything up. And then I was determined to use a couple pieces of washi, and so I put that floral one on the bottom. And then I tried using this piece. I really liked the butterfly, but in the end, I don't know. I just didn't think it was the right fit. Like, I really liked that black flower because, well, the pictures are kind of black, right? So, like this picture right here, which is a Prima picture, and this one is also from Prima. Like, the first one was just too white. This one I liked, but, here I'm putting this other little piece in there, and then I'm covering up the crackle paste, and, it's like you have to figure out what you want in your piece, right? And I liked this. I liked that combination a lot. So that's what I'm going to go with now. These are very interesting. So this is from Folk Art, and they are rust looking paints. They're called painted finishes. One is light rust and one is called dark rust. And I've had them for years. I actually got them when I was part of a design team. And yeah, oh gosh, it was so fun to play with these. I put them on, what that's on right there, though, that paint is actually an acrylic block. So an acrylic block that you would use for acrylic stamps. But years ago, I started using it for acrylic paints as like a palette. And I'm still using it that way. And that's what that is, even though it's all covered in paint and you can't tell what it really is. It is an acrylic block, a thin one, but it's an acrylic block. So you're going to see, I keep putting her back because I want to see where the color is. Where do I need more? Do I need it darker? Do I like it? All of that stuff. So now I know I wanted to add some over here. And I'm like, well, let me tear it. And then I'm like, well, let me take a little chunk out of the page. Because what I realized with this was, like, the edges of the paper, it's fun. It's fun to, because it's more porous on the edges. I don't know. But it was just, I don't know how to say, I almost want to say important to have as many edges as possible to get that rust feel to it. And yeah, so I was happy with tearing that little piece of paper out from the page. And I just kept adding until, I was liking what I was doing. And I liked her there because I felt like she was sitting on top of the flower. So I don't know. She's got the wings, so she's flying around, I guess. I don't know. And now, what was interesting about these two paints is the lighter one, the light rust. I mean, you could probably make that or find it in any acrylic paint. It really didn't have a look to it, although, or something. I didn't have anything special to it, except that I really, 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 really like that color, and that these two colors together, they came together. They came in the same package, so you would have to, I guess, still buy them together. And but that brown, wow, 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 wow. That brown actually has, how can I explain it? Almost like sand in it, or not sand. Like if you took an Oreo cookie and you crumpled up the chocolate, that's what it was like. So like, or even like if you ever had an ice cream cake, um, yeah, the inside, that crunchy part on the inside, that's what was in that darker brown paint. It's pretty amazing. It's really quite awesome. And it was a lot of fun to use. It kind of got all over the place, but it was well, well, well worth it. And so I figured out the placement for the word seek. I thought it looked good on top of that darker patch right there. So I was happy putting that there. And I had to keep pushing it down because, again, this page is very, textural. And I'm using, at this point, my tacky glue, my old tacky glue. And gosh, I'm getting close to the end of that bottle, so I'm excited about that. But now, before I was going to glue that stuff down, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm not done with this page. So I moved the butterfly and the lady to the left, and I'm playing now with more Crackle paint from Tim Holtz Distress. But this is tarnished brass. The first color that I used was antique bronze. But now I'm adding, like I said, this tarnished brass, and I put a little bit on, and I'm just trying to get more attention to the crackled part, right? Because that's why I put it there, because I wanted to see it. But I mess up just a little bit, like right here. See how I spread that around? Yeah. And I realized pretty much right away when I did it, that was bad, because all I did was make it all brown, and then the yellow was, or that tarnished brass, which looks very yellow to me, was gone. So I put a little bit more yellow there, and I was good with that. And in the end, the yellow didn't, it dried lighter, so I was okay with that. So now I have the adhesive all over the back of this lady and the butterfly, and I'm gonna, get her where I need her to be, and then I have to straighten out the butterfly because the butterfly's crooked and all of that good stuff. And so I was happy with where she was sitting on the flower, and now I'm going to try to figure out where to put the word dream. And again, I'm just trying to use the pieces of washi I have on my desk. So I like the word dream down at the bottom. So I'm just using the Liquitex matte medium again to get that on there. And I'm going to really take a look. Right now I'm like taking a step back and like saying to myself, well, what else does this page need? And I'm like, you know what? I'm really, really, really loving the whole light rust and dark rust, and the way it looks on the page. And you can see those little pieces of brown? Those are like the little pieces of the Oreo cookie. I mean, they were literally, yeah. But it was very cool because that helped make it look more rustic, right? So yeah, it was a lot of fun to play with those two colors together. And then I looked at the page and I'm like, oh my gosh, that piece of washi on the bottom with those red flowers, I'm like, no, doesn't look right. So I had to tone that down, and I'm just gonna play spreading this around. And then I covered up the word dreams, so I'm just going to take my little makeup sponge and kind of clear that off a little bit. And I was happy with this now, and just adding a little bit more of that dark rust on to the bottom. Yeah, I thought that it made the bottom, just the way I wanted it to be. So I was happy with that, and I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to share it with you. And I have a couple pictures at the end of this video. And I'm showing you here, like the corner, like you can actually see the chunkiness of that dark brown. It's really pretty awesome. But anyways, so that's it. So this was a lot of fun. My fingers are a mess and I loved every second of it. So thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you enjoy mixed media and let me know if you have any questions. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Bye-bye.